Hello, and welcome back to another episode of St. Louis on Stage this week, where we celebrate the people, productions, stories, opportunities, and ideas that keep St. Louis theater alive. As always, we invite you to visit stlouisonstage.com for the latest in local theater. Whether you're an actor updating your resume, a company building its team, a director seeking collaborators, or a patron looking for your next great show, St. Louis on Stage helps our community be seen, discovered, and connected. Please take a moment to like and subscribe and select the notification bell so you'll always know when the latest episode drops. Well, we're back for another episode with what we're now calling ourselves Serial Patrons, and we're going to talk about three current shows, or one closing, I believe, today. And I think that's Meet Me in St. Louis. Hello, Donna. Hello, Robert. How are you?
Hello,
Hi.
fine. Thank you.
Great to be talking to you. Always great to be talking to you. So, sadly, Meet Me in St. Louis closes tonight. So, probably if they're seeing this, it's probably already too late to go see the show.
Or hopefully they've already seen it.
Exactly. Exactly. So, we'll have to see if they agree with what we have to say. Now, I haven't seen the show, so
Oh, okay.
I'm up for you guys to tell me what you thought of the show.
Well, I thought it was absolutely wonderful. The music, of course, is great. And all the little, you know, inside information about St. Louis that they threw in there, and all of the slides they showed of the World's Fair and of all the places in St. Louis that we all love. It was great. And the music is terrific. The acting, of course, was superior.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Our own Ben Nordstrom, St. Louis's Ben Nordstrom, got to sing a wonderful song that they added called Under the Anheuser-Busch.
Oh, that's wonderful. I did not know about that.
Yes, it was a lot of fun, and of course he did a beautiful job. The scenery was spectacular. They had the big revolving stage,
Oh,
and they would show the dining room, they'd show the living room, they'd show the outside of the house. It was gorgeous. Absolutely. And then a trolley went across the stage. Wouldn't be anything without that trolley.
right. So they did it up right. That's wonderful. What do you think,
Love.
Robert?
I think they did it upright. I agree with everything Donna said. I would like to say something. There are three musicals that I honestly can't stand the stage version because I love the movie version so much.
Oh,
One
right.
is
Oh,
Meet Me in St. Louis, one is Sound of Music, and one is Amelie. And in Sound of Music, I feel like one of the protagonists of the movie is the city of Salzburg itself. Okay, and so I don't see that on stage. In
mm,
Amelie, I feel like Paris itself is as much of a protagonist as Amelie is. And in Meet Me in St. Louis, I think it's cast so perfectly that I love the casting of the movie. But St. Louis, it's talked about a lot, but you don't actually see much of St. Louis in the movie.
Right.
And this was like the combination of both. I
Oh,
got all the songs that I love, I got the story, but I got my hometown, you know? It's
right.
like it was all there on stage in a way that would to me was just electrifying. So like I said, I'm not crazy, especially the original version because they've updated the book a bit on this version.
mhm.
Um I often found the show to be a bit long, okay? And I could not believe it when afterwards I was introduced to the director, and I said, I cannot believe these words are coming out of my mouth, but you made me cry at the stage version of Meet Me in St. Louis. Words that I never thought would be coming out of my mouth. I thought the ending was so spectacular. I
Yeah,
just got emotional. I started bawling, you know.
Oh
I
my.
I thought it
know.
was
It was
beautiful.
lovely.
I
Lovely.
thought it was beautiful.
And the
And
fireworks, they had fireworks at the end.
it's like when I thought there was nothing more that could overwhelm me, boom, the fireworks started.
And
Yeah,
it's like the only space you could actually do that, you know? I mean,
Right,
yeah.
you have
right,
to
right.
be outdoors and then they
And
gave that to you. That's wonderful.
and I'd also like to point out that all of those wonderful sets were designed by Ann Beiersdorfer, who I live in Belleville, Illinois, who is from Belleville, no longer lives here, obviously lives in New York City, but But all of that work was done by Ann Beiersdorfer, and it's just gorgeous. I mean,
It
there
was
were moments that
absolutely
I
gorgeous.
looked at the backdrops. And I said, "Oh, those are the houses on Lafayette Square. Oh, those are the houses on Hawthorne and Longfellow by the Compton Reservoir." You know, and then at the very end, it's like they actually build the arch in front of us as they move from 1904 into the present times. I thought it was wonderful. You know, I'm
I
so
did
sorry
too.
that you didn't see it, Troy.
Yeah,
You know.
they
Yeah.
honored the show and the city.
Oh yeah,
Yes, both.
it was just
And
it
there
was
was another new song that they wrote just for Katie,
yes
the housemaid,
for Katie the
and
housemaid. Yes.
yes, it was adorable too. It was
Mm-hmm.
lovely.
It was,
There's a
yeah.
kind of a funny story if you've got a minute. I when they were having auditions for Meet Me in St. Louis, I thought, oh, here's my chance to get on the Muni stage. Oh my gosh, I could be Katie because that
80.
was Marjorie Main in the movie. I could be her. So I went and I sang a little song, and Michael Baxter, who is the casting person at
Right.
the Muni, darling, darling person, I said, I know I don't sing that great, Michael, but Katie doesn't sing, so I thought I had a chance here. He said, Donna, Katie sings. And I let out an expletive that I was ashamed,
Oh, oh, oh.
but they laughed, thank God. They laughed. So I tell everybody that Beth Level barely beat me out of the park.
Barely, I'm sure, because I could see you as the perfect Katie. So, you know,
Thank
Beth
you.
Level barely beat you out of the park. Okay.
Barely.
Right up to you said that expletive, and then it was like,
Right, right. Then you were gone. Then you were
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
all right. So, if I can, let me just put you on the spot here. What is the best moment of the whole show? This version, obviously.
Donna.
Well, I'm trying to think. I always have yourself a merry little Christmas, of course. It's such a heartbreaker.
Yeah.
But I loved Under the Anheuser-Busch. I thought that was so much fun because it was something new and different.
Right.
Mm,
For
gosh.
me,
The tr-
oh, I'm sorry, Donna. I didn't mean to
No, no,
interrupt you.
that's good. Go.
For me, it's I don't know if I should use the word recreate because I want to think that all of this is their own original work, but the ending is so similar to when they go to the fair in the movie. The fair just unfolds in front of you, and I just thought the ending I loved the ending. That for me
Yeah.
was the moment. Yes, there were many other wonderful moments in the show. It's hard to choose, but I was just like, oh, 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 because it just like new things kept appearing, and then yes, the Muni's a large stage, but there's only so much perspective, so much focal point. You know, I felt like they managed to make the stage seem twice as deep as it was, and suddenly I'm
Uh-huh.
looking at Art Hill. You know, I'm looking at the
Yes.
lagoon. The water's actually moving in the
Yes.
lagoon, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
and it was just, I just thought it was one of the best things I've ever seen at the Muni. You know, so
Yeah.
that for me was the big moment. But there were many other great moments in it too.
Yeah.
The
Well,
Muni made it magic, and I always love
They
it when the
did,
Muni makes it magic.
they did. And another thing I thought was interesting because Donna mentioned that they added new material musically, new song for Katie, and then the song that Ben Nordstrom sang. I also think it's interesting that um when Esther and John Truitt, after the trolley scene, they arrive at the fairgrounds, which are under construction. They sing a song that a duet that was recorded for the movie, and then it was decided that it slowed the action down too much, so they never filmed it, and it got cut from the movie.
oh,
So then, a few years later, Frank Sinatra recorded it for the movie "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." Again, they decided to cut it from that, and then one last time for State Fair it was briefly considered to put this song into State Fair, and again, it was cut from State Fair,
Poor
and
thing.
the Muni decided to put it back into the show, which was the original intention of the show, and it's a Rodgers and Hammerstein song, actually. Okay,
oh,
so
And it
it's
was a
not
lovely scene. It was a lovely scene.
it's not even by the composers, you know, at least the original music for me in St. Louis, and
right.
I thought that was nice too, you know.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So those additions, you'd said you feel it's a little long, which there's shows that I, and the same thing. I'm like, I love it, but I wish it was shorter or, more concise or cut this or cut that. What about this? That you're talking about three additional songs. Did that not make it
So
longer or did it still fit somehow?
So they have, my understanding is they have rewritten the book, and the beginning of the show, to me, it seems significantly different than
Yeah, it
than
did.
the way I remember it. Things get condensed in the beginning of the show. A lot of stuff happens very quickly at the beginning of the show, so that the whole story and um, the basic argument of the story, of course, is will the Smiths be leaving St. Louis to go to New York or will they stay?
Right.
All of that's introduced very, very quickly. And so they make up the time that they're going to take
Right.
to put this new music in. I feel like they make up for it in the beginning because the beginning of the show is much tighter than it used to be.
That's great. Great. Well, and great exposition. Everybody just wants to go to the story, but you do need to know the characters and who they are and their wants and their so that you can tell the actual story that you're setting up for. And so,
Right.
a
And
brilliant.
and to be honest, this is just my opinion, but I have always felt that as much as I love the movie, as much as I love the music, I have always felt that the story is as flimsy as can be. Okay. The whole musical revolves around, oh, is this family going to New York or not? And it's so clear nobody wants to go to New York. It's like, of course they're not. But
Right.
then you go through this sequence of holidays and events that are just wonderful. It's like, oh, we don't really need a story, I guess, do we? Because
No.
here comes another song that I like.
Right. Right. Oh, but musicals have never been accused of having flimsy stories. What?
I feel like this one, it's pretty thin, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I think very many of them are.
And very predictable.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and the perfect example is they had a song and they said, maybe we'll just throw it in this show. Maybe we'll just throw it in this movie. Well, that's not exactly coming out of the story if they decide to just
Right.
add it here or
Exactly.
there. Yeah. So
And then, but as Donna pointed out with "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas," suddenly in the midst of this flimsy story, you have a moment that's just a
right.
tearjerker.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, this is actually a great moment in musical
Right.
theater.
Right. That's magnificent. Which is why some shows are sustainable and other shows,
Mhm.
yeah. Yeah, or come back in certain time periods and things.
Right.
But I will say, and it always angers me, but in my travels over the years, everybody I know who is not from St. Louis who has seen the show hates it.
Really? Oh my
Yes, they
gosh.
always say it's boring. They always
Oh,
say, "Oh,
Wow.
it's so boring."
well, maybe that has part of the magic for me that it was done about St. Louis. So maybe that does make it closer to my heart. I don't know.
I think it does for all of us. As a friend of mine said, we're not only watching this in St. Louis, we're watching it in Forest Park. It's like
Right.
Right. Yes.
the Grand Lagoon is just a few hundred feet from where we are right now.
Right.
It's like we're
Yeah.
we're in what they keep referring to as Skinker Swamp.
I know. I loved it.
Yeah,
I'm so glad that was a wonderful production. All right, let's
it
see here.
was.
Let's move on to our next production. I would like to talk about Guys and Dolls.
Mm.
All right. So
You
again,
go first, Robert.
yeah, I was going to say I didn't see this one.
Oh, you
Okay.
didn't? You
No,
didn't try? Oh, okay.
I'm such a disappointment this episode.
As I've said before, um, I feel like stages raised the bar so much when they moved from their old smaller theater where they were for many many years to the K-Pack, and this is a show that I just think fills the K-Pack stage with spectacular moments. I think it's one of the finest productions I've ever seen at stages, um, especially for me. A couple of really bring down the house moments. I think the whole crap shooting "Luck Be a Lady Tonight" scene with the
Mhm.
dancing. Um, I mean, when does "Sit Down, You're Rocking the Boat" not bring down the house? But
Yeah.
let's
That
face
did
it,
bring the house down. It brought the house
this,
down.
this version of of "Sit Down, You're Rocking the Boat," it is something pretty special. And I also loved the dancing in the Havana scene, you know.
Hmm.
So um yeah, I think for me, um the ensemble numbers, choreography, they were definite highlights of the show. Uh but
Absolutely. And
such
everyone had
wonderful.
beautiful voices, of
Oh
course.
my gosh, yeah.
But didn't you just get a big kick out of Zoe Vanderhaar as Big
Oh,
Julie?
as Big Julie, you know, when Zoe first came on, I'd ask myself 3 times because I hadn't looked at the program actually. And I'm like, is that so? Is that not so? Is that so? I think that's so. Oh, then you hear the voice. It's like, oh, that's so.
Yeah.
That is definitely so. I thought that was a great idea, and I thought she did a marvelous job as Big Julie.
She was hilarious. She was hilarious,
Hilarious.
and she was great. And she did the dancing with the ensembles,
Mm-hmm.
and she did singing, of course, with the ensemble. She can do it all. But I told her, I said, if you don't steal that purple suit, take it home with you. You're crazy.
I was gonna say the purple suit is pretty amazing, as
Yeah.
were the shoes.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. But it
And
was
we should probably mention costumes in general were just stunning in this show.
fabulous,
Hmm.
fabulous. Everybody's was, and the singing, as I said, absolutely everybody had gorgeous voices, and we had lots of our hometown people. Pam
Yes,
Retkamp, John Flack, and Steve Isom were also in it.
Steve Isom, he was there. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, so it was fun. It's always fun seeing our hometown people because,
It
honest to
always is.
gosh, they've got
Hmm.
wonderful, wonderful talent.
There is great
Right.
talent here
Yeah,
in St.
it
Louis.
really is.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So like you said, this is possibly the best show they've ever done. Do you think it ranks up there too, Donna? Would you agree?
I thought it was, but they just keep raising the bar. They
Right.
They
really
do.
do.
Right.
They do.
Every year I see one, I say, okay,
Right.
that's the best thing they've ever done, and then
Hmm.
they
Yeah.
do something else,
And then there'll
which
be
is
something else. Hmm.
yeah, but which means that they're really concentrating and working hard to make every production stand out, and they're not resting on their laurels at
Right.
all.
They're
Right.
not resting on their laurels, and it's funny because I feel like almost every time I go to stages, I end up saying, "I think that's one of the best things stages has ever done." You
Yeah,
know, it's like
yeah.
they're very consistent. And again, I wonder, did somebody die and bequeath them a lot of money? Because I feel like they're making different casting choices than perhaps they were able to make in the past. I don't know, but it's like
They are
you know
bringing in a lot of Broadway
they're
talent.
bringing in people, and I love the as we just mentioned, I love that the St. Louis talent is being used, but of course
Yes.
in St. Louis we love seeing talent come from New York and other places as well, so it's nice to have that mix. Um
But it
you know
also seems the talent is not. It's in the vision of the productions, like the
yes,
Saint Meet Me in St. Louis and stuff. That it takes that from the vision of the director and then incorporated by the music and the conductor, the choreographer, and when that all comes together as a single ensemble headed the same direction, it just raises the bar of the entire production, which it just sounds it. That's what I keep noticing is it seems like the productions from their very beginning seem to be, heart driven rather than, pocketbook driven um or it just seems like they're pursuing true theater and telling the story.
Cutting corners and making do. You
Right.
feel like they're really putting the best effort out there. This is going to be a wonderful show. We're going to get superior talent. We're going to get good costumers. We're going to get good set designers, and we're going to give people their money's worth. And I think it's
Right.
working.
I
Right.
think it's working too, and I think they can put their best effort out there because I don't think you can have a show like that unless there is complete cooperation and collaboration between your entire creative team
Right.
and the people who are hired to come in and do the show. So I also feel like the people that we never see, the people who work in the offices,
Right.
that there's a vision there, and that these people are all on the same page.
And
You know.
that uplifts the performers, gives
Hmm.
confidence to the whole production in every direction. Um, Now I'm honestly not just talking about stages. I feel like we're almost in a renaissance right now in the St. Louis area where there's always been great theater, but it almost seems like it's elevated now
Hmm.
as
I
a
think the
whole.
same thing. I do. It's almost as if people are going, hmm, let's see if I can even do better than that. Maybe
Right.
kind of
Right.
a competition of
Hmm.
trying to elevate their preferences and enter into the mainstream of giving great theater in St. Louis. And we do have great theater in St. Louis,
We
And we
even on the
absolutely.
do.
community
Yeah, go ahead.
theater level on up.
Yeah, and we do have great theater here. And the same way I always get a little offended when people not from St. Louis tell me they don't like the musical Meet Me in St. Louis. My New York friends always get offended when I'm not quite as impressed as they think I should be by the Broadway theaters. And I'm talking about the theaters themselves, the installations
They're
themselves.
small. Most of
They're
them are very
small.
small.
It's like they're
Yeah.
small. Most of them don't even have a real lobby. And they're like, oh, people, I grew up with the Fox. I grew up with the Muni. I grew up watching people have to sprint across the stage and not look like they're sprinting on a hot summer evening, and then not look like
Yes.
they're sweating. All of that is it requires great talent. So I think sometimes, many times, at the Muni, I see a largeness of theater that I you can't see on Broadway in New York. I would rather see a show like Les Mis on the stage of the Muni than in
Ah,
a Broadway theater. I'm just going to come out and say it. And
yeah.
no, I
Yeah.
have no qualms about saying that. And I feel like now most of the time when I go to stages, I am not seeing something that I feel like would be better if I happened to be sitting in a New York theater.
Nope.
Right.
And
Right.
there are
Nope.
I mean, tonight we're talking about shows from the Muni and stages, but there are other companies in town that I would say the same thing for too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be just a financial
Mm-mm.
thing. And like you're saying, Donna, Um, I would just contradict what you were saying is they're not trying to best each other. I think they're trying to best themselves. They really
Yeah.
see something and they love it and they go, I think they want to tell the story and that's their foundation rather than saying, let's make it great. They literally just want to tell it truthfully and honestly and just a fantastic production start to finish, and that does end up making it almost a competition with everybody because if you do your best and surround yourself with the best talent, it's going to be amazing, and then they're doing the same thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's
Absolutely. People who believe in what they're doing and have pride in what they're doing, and I think that's what a lot of their companies are doing now,
mhm,
taking
mhm.
pride in what they're doing
Yes,
and
yes,
doing it right. And we are the lucky recipients of it because
yes,
I'm
all of
Yeah,
us.
enjoying
we're
it.
the lucky recipients of it, taking pride in what they're doing. And I also feel like taking more risks than perhaps they did in the past. I feel like so many of these shows, there's a meeting that we were not part of where somebody at the table said, what if? Just what if? Now listen to me, hear me out.
Yeah,
What if and then an idea comes and people are like, oh, 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 we should try that. And then they do, and it works.
yeah,
Yeah,
and it does. You don't even know what you can do until you try. So anyway,
Mm.
I just that was a whole segue, but I really feel like that's true about St. Louis right now. And
Hmm.
and it's exciting. It's so
it is.
exciting.
It is.
Yep. Well, and another example, just to go on with what you said there, Robert, the Avenue Q is a perfect example. It's not regularly done, but people are trying different things, and it's sold out. It doesn't open for a couple weeks.
Right.
Um, the whole run's sold out. I mean, it's obviously paying
That's
dividends.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's wonderful. I think that's so magnificent. So, all right, let's see. Our next thing up is Two Gentlemen of Verona.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now, Donna, have you gotten to
And
see
I
this yet?
didn't get to see that, so you're going to have to tell me all about
Right. Definitely, definitely. Okay,
it.
if I can start, Robert, if you don't mind.
Hmm. It's your turn.
I just want to say the magnitude of this production, not the production itself, but to go to, are they going to 36 locations?
I think so. Something like that.
Because where are they tonight, you said? But
They're here in Belleville, Illinois tonight.
yeah, they're in Belleville. Last night they were in Chesterfield. Um, to pack that up and to move that and share Shakespeare with somebody literally, I mean, that would be another country in Europe to go that far. I mean,
Yeah.
Hmm.
it's
It
just,
could be.
yeah, and they travel and the technology worked well. But mostly they really told a fun and shared a fun production with the audience at an outdoor theater, which just as a performer, if all my entrances were slightly different, that would mess me up a little bit.
Mm.
I'm not gonna lie. So
Um,
I think just
I have wondered about that. Yeah, because
yeah,
every night's a little different.
yeah. And I did see it at the Chesterfield Amphitheater, which is probably one of their easiest performance spaces because there is big enough stage, and they were probably able to do what they rehearsed. But I can see that cannot always. You cannot tell me there are 36 um, similar venues that they're
No, I
performing at.
can tell you the venue here in Belleville is very different. 2 years ago, they're not going to Grand Marais State Park in Illinois at this time, but they were there 2 years ago, which is a beautiful setting, but there is no amphitheater. There's no stage of any sort. There's
Right.
grass. You know, there's a lake
Oh,
behind them, which worked beautifully for the Tempest, but there is no stage of any kind there, you know. Another thing that made me very happy about the show was I saw it at the Botanical Gardens, and
Oh,
it
okay.
was packed. And I just roughly guesstimated that maybe 400 people were there. But I ran
wow.
into Rebecca
Wow.
Scallett. I think it was the next night when I went to see Job at New Jewish, and Rebecca said she was told there were 700 people there. 700.
Wow.
Okay. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I will say, disappointingly, there were less than 200 when I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be the weather as part of the thing. However, it turned out to be the most beautiful night. I mean, it was gorgeous. It wasn't hot. It wasn't. I mean, it was a beautiful night. Um, yeah, but that was a little disappointing. Um,
Well, 2 years ago when I saw The Tempest at Grand Marais State Park, 6 people in the audience.
Mm.
uh,
Yes,
Oh,
6.
see, that's
Two of whom were parents who had flown in from Seattle, and and
that's
me and a friend of mine and two other people. You know.
yeah. Well, if you balance it out, what there were 700 at another production, it's not as bad. But um, yeah, I feel like St. Louis on Stage's job is to get the word out for this. So anyway, to move on to the production, I thought they were all very talented. I enjoyed the songs they added. I was impressed, quite impressed. They were good. Um, and it added some nice elements to the story, and they were talented players. The guitar, particularly, that was surprised. There was obviously a real guitar player in there, and
He'll be so happy to hear that Tristan is he'll be a senior next year. He's a
yeah,
student of mine. Tristan loves playing the guitar. I don't know that he actually considers himself a guitar player, so I'm going to be sure to let him know that you referred to him as the guitar player.
right. Well, there were actually, I mean, there were actual tempos and my son plays guitar. I can't play it,
Uh-huh.
but there were things being done on the guitar while singing that an amateur, not an amateur, even a highly talented amateur could not have pulled off. Um, so I was impressed, and the songs came together well. And as they added music and even had the accordion in there, um, it was fun. Yeah, definitely. So
Yeah, music director was Larry Pry, and I thought he did a fine job.
yeah,
oh
yeah,
yeah. He always does.
He always does. Yes. Hmm.
Yes.
yeah.
Well, these people, they're very talented that do these traveling Shakespeare shows, but they also have a lot of stamina. They have to put up their own sets and drag all their equipment around and
Yes,
travel all over the city and Illinois. And and they still have the energy to put on a fabulous show. So
Yep, they
more
set it
power
up, they
to them.
do the show, they tear it down, you know?
Right.
And that's amazing. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I hope that people that have never seen Two Gentlemen Verona go and see it. I hope that I just hope more people get to see it because they're performing through for almost another month, I believe. It's
Hmm.
September, late September. Let me put up
Right.
the any other comments you wanted to add? I kind of took over there, Robert.
No, the only thing I was going to say, and you and I were kind of talking about this
Mhm.
a little before we went on the air, for if anybody would be watching this who thinks, well, I've never seen Shakespeare before, or I don't Shakespeare before, or oh, I don't know, am I going to understand everything they say? They present it all in a way that's very accessible to the audience, and they always start, or the first 10 minutes is always, it's kind of a telling of the story in more modern language, explaining what some of the heightened language might mean, and without you know without spoiling the story for you, they set you up in a nice way for
Right.
being able to see it. So I think people should not be afraid to go see a Shakespeare show
Yeah.
in the park.
And Shakespeare's comedies are very very much like today's sitcoms in the character what happens isn't surprising as a story. It's more how it unfolds, which you do enjoy. Just like that's why we watch a good sitcom because we know the characters and we want to see them face a situation and what hilarity ensues from that. And I think this was very much like that. And well, the thing I teach middle school. So I tell them, yes, it's important to know the story, but it's much more important to know the character names and who they are. Because when they walk on stage, if they talk about another character and you don't know who that was, and the character that's talking, you don't know who that is, and he's talking to somebody who you don't know who that is, and it doesn't matter if you get the story, you can't figure out who they're talking about because I explained to them it's not Bob and Sue. If it was Bob and Sue, it would make a lot of sense. When it's Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, it's like the who, the what. So, yeah, you gotta.
Or even names that we pronounce differently today than in Shakespeare's time. And that was one of the things they mentioned. They mentioned the Duke of Milan, saying, "Now you probably know that city as Milan.
Yeah,
We'll be calling it Milan today."
Miller.
Yeah. So they give those kind of explanations as well. So,
Yeah, and it's not a difficult story to follow. It is a bit because they're changing costumes, but they set that up well right at the beginning too. And there's a simple costume change, and you know who that character is. Um, yeah, you know as soon as you see them, both by the acting and by the costume. It's
and
like,
by the costume.
yep,
Yeah.
and vocally because they did a lot of vocal characterization, which was really.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But you saw their physicalization right away, which is what good acting is, and good acting in a story that is set up with like the good guy, the bad guy, it's fairly clear as you go through the wants of all the characters. So, and I thought they did a good job of presenting that.
And
Definitely.
it was directed by Rebecca Scallett, wasn't it, of the New Jewish Theater?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
right. I think she's
Mhm.
a fine director. So
Yes.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought the set was wonderful. I don't know how they packed it up and sent it, but the simple turning, I was flashing back to Perry Actoy, like, except they
Yes.
yeah, except I just really liked how those were used, and they were beautiful. It didn't look like, "Oh, this is the set they had to put up because they couldn't."
Right. I was there on opening night, so when it was over, still in the amphitheater area, I was talking to a couple of students, and they said, "Are you going to the after party?" And I said, "Yes." And I said, "I'm going to head on over there." And they said, "We'll see you in about 10 minutes." And I thought, "Oh no, you are not tearing that set down in 10 minutes." They arrived 45 minutes later.
Right. Which that's still not bad.
45 minutes later, they showed up at the after party. It's like, uh-huh, yeah. I knew that set was not coming down in 10 minutes.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
But I
Well,
felt like it was more set than I've seen other years, you know?
oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Which is it I always try to so talking middle school again, I'm in a gymatorium and we try
Mm-hmm.
to if you can add height, it gives so much more of an impression. If I can hang strips or beams from the ceiling that just fills the space a little better because my actors are tiny. So,
Right.
but with this, those large curved things they gave the curve, the
Hmm.
color, and their size added to the production because they could be entrances, they could be walls. They were and they were making a real entrance between two large objects, which just established a location, which was nice. Yep.
And if you're a dog lover, there's a dog. And
Yes.
it's not, and
Oh,
apparently it's not the same dog every night. So
No.
I think they rotate among. I can't remember now how many I saw listed, but it's several dogs. I had a lovely golden retriever.
Oh, and ours was not, but ours was on its last night. They were saying goodbye to it after that night. So yeah, it seemed much more interested in the audience than the stuff on stage, which was quite fun. It didn't leave any prizes though, which is probably that's probably a great
I
performance.
think that's a good thing. Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, I think this was great. I think we've talked about some great productions. It
Hmm.
goes right along with the fact that everything seems to be elevated in the whole community theatrically. And honestly, I'd rather go see a bad play than a lot of other things too. Not a bad play, but I had this thought going about if somebody takes a chance and it doesn't work completely, but you see what they were going for and you saw some great performances and you have a conversation afterwards. It's so much more interesting than seeing something just thrown out there or something to cut corners or to yeah.
Even if it was legitimately awful and there's nothing good to say about it, what have you really lost? A couple of hours of your life.
Right.
you know,
And
so-
you've usually gained some really rich conversation.
some rich conversation. But thankfully, that rarely, if ever, happens. I mean, I'm sure there are always shows that we might like part of it more than another part of it, or one person likes it better than
Mhm.
another person. But I don't know. At least this summer, I feel like I've seen so much good theater this
Yeah.
summer.
I have two. I have two. I
Mhm.
think we're really lucky.
I do
Yeah,
too.
I would really say and the productions are so even, which is just not always the case. That's what I usually see. It was a great show. I thought this was a misstep. I'm not seeing a lot of missteps. Not that I would even mind if you swing and miss, at least you swung, you know.
You swung.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and yeah, I hope audiences go out and see and have some discussion to share with us.
I
Right?
hope
All
so
right.
too.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Let me wrap us up here. So it's been another wonderful episode of St. Louis on Stage this week. I want to thank our wonderful guests for so generously giving of their time. And I also wish to thank everyone watching, listening, and supporting St. Louis Theater. Until next time, stay curious, stay connected, and hey, go see a play.